Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine this. You're, in a conversation, things are actually flowing pretty well. You're feeling all right, and then bam, it
Yeah.
just hits. That moment where your mind, it just goes completely blank. Poof, nothing.
Ugh, yeah, that feeling.
Right. And you feel that like familiar knot of panic starting to tighten up in your chest. Maybe your palms get a little bit clammy and you're just desperately, desperately trying to grab onto anything, anything at all to say.
Mhm.
But your brain just decides, nope, checking out, gone fishing. It's like it whispers, nothing here for you. System reboot required.
Yeah, it really feels like your internal computer just crashed, doesn't it? And always at the absolute worst possible second.
Always. And we've all been there, haven't we? That horrible, dreaded, creeping, awful, awkward silence just takes over. And in that moment, I mean, it can feel like you're totally alone in it, stuck under this massive spotlight that just got way, way too hot.
Well, what's truly fascinating there and often, incredibly isolating is exactly that feeling of being the only one struggling in that silent moment. Yet, as the really insightful video we're diving into today makes abundantly clear, millions of us go through this. It's not just a few quiet seconds.
No.
It's that really intense internal scramble,
Yeah.
The profound sensation of your mind just bailing on you mid-sentence. And this isn't just about like discomfort, it's a shared human emotional experience. And it can definitely take a significant toll on our self-perception and our willingness to engage.
Exactly. And that relatability, that, oh, wow, it's not just me feeling. That's precisely why I was so excited when I saw this deep dive topic pop up. Today, we're taking a really comprehensive plunge into mastering confident conversation. We're exploring key insights from, honestly, a truly transformative video. It's titled Kill Awkward Silences Forever, Speak Confidently with Anyone.
Quite the title.
It is. And it comes from the YouTube channel Awaken Your Potential, which I have to say has become just an indispensable guide for me personally. It feels like a really trusted space for, wisdom and deep transformation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, every time I watch something from them, whether it's about communication like this or uh, self-growth, I feel this tangible shift, like a sense of taking a real step forward in my own personal development. Their content isn't just theory.
Yeah.
It's packed with practical tools, really inspiring discussions, and genuinely growth-oriented pathways. It just clicks.
That sounds really valuable. And it connects directly to our mission today, right? The mission of this deep dive is
Yeah.
precisely that, to unpack why those conversational roadblocks happen, to sort of peel back the layers of that whole experience, and then crucially, to equip you, our listener, with incredibly practical tools and some powerful mindset shifts.
Yes. Mindset is huge here.
It really is. The overarching goal is basically to banish those awkward silences forever, hopefully, and allow you to walk into any conversation feeling genuinely confident, prepared, and present. It's about moving from that place of dread and avoidance, to one of genuine, maybe even delight and connection in your interactions. And the insights from Awaken Your Potential really do feel like a guiding light towards those kinds of personal breakthroughs.
I genuinely mean it when I say awaken. Your potential has been personally impactful for me. There's just this authenticity to their approach that really resonates. Their content is all about tangible growth, like actionable transformation, giving you concrete strategies you can actually implement today.
That practicality is key.
Totally. And this particular video, Kill Awkward Silences, is no exception. It's packed with such clear, concise wisdom, and it's presented in a way that just makes sense. It's not overly academic or complicated. I've already started trying to apply some of these ideas myself, and it's like having this, I don't know, thoughtful guide right there with you, helping you become a stronger, more self-aware version of yourself, ready to actually connect with people. So yeah, let's really dig into what's happening when those silences hit, and maybe what's the real price we're paying for them.
Okay. Let's begin by truly dissecting the experience itself, the anatomy, as you said, of an awkward silence, and its true, often quite underestimated cost.
Right. So the video starts by just acknowledging this universal struggle, which for me, like I said, that acknowledgement alone was incredibly validating. It's not just about a few quiet seconds, is it? It's so much more visceral than that.
Much more.
It's that profound sense of your mind just abandoning you.
Yeah.
Mid-thought sometimes. One moment you might be tracking the conversation, feeling okay. The next, it's like someone just hit the mute button on your internal monologue.
Complete blank.
And you're trying so desperately, scrambling inside, to grab onto any thought, any word, any topic,
Yeah.
literally anything to fill that gaping void, but your brain just offers nothing. Just static. a deafening silence inside your own head.
Mm.
And the feeling that washes over you is this overwhelming sense of being completely alone in that struggle.
Mm.
Like you're the only person on earth who's ever run out of things to say. You look at the other person, they look back at you, and the air just, it thickens,
Yeah.
with this unspoken pressure. It's a heavy, really isolating weight.
But what's fascinating here, and what the video really highlights, is that shared vulnerability this experience actually creates, even if it feels incredibly isolating in the moment. The video really drives home that point, reminding us, like you quoted, that millions of us go through this. This isn't some personal failing, it's a common human challenge. It's rooted deep in our social wiring, our innate desire to connect and, be perceived positively by others.
Right. That makes sense.
And understanding that simple fact alone can be incredibly liberating. It immediately shifts the perspective from, something is inherently wrong with me, to, okay, this is a shared human experience that can actually be understood, managed, and ultimately overcome. Just knowing you're not alone is honestly the first step out of that internal spotlight.
And it's not just uncomfortable in the moment. That's the real kicker, the insidious cost, isn't it? These silences, that horrible feeling of your mind going blank, they start to eat away at your confidence over time, bit by bit.
Yeah, it's corrosive.
Totally. They make you internalize these negative narratives, these stories you tell yourself that you're maybe small, boring, or just plain awkward.
Mm.
And I found it incredibly eye-opening when the video discussed the cascading negative effects, how it ripples out from that initial discomfort.
Mm.
You start dreading meeting new people,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You might shy away from social gatherings, avoid eye contact, or even make excuses to skip events where you might have to engage in conversation. You start actively avoiding the very situations that could help.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the implications become really clear. This isn't just like a minor social inconvenience. It can profoundly impact our entire personal and professional trajectory. When we avoid these interactions, we inevitably miss out on crucial connections, maybe new friendships that could have blossomed, exciting work opportunities that often arise from networking, or even, potential romantic relationships.
Yeah, definitely. You close doors without even realizing it.
Exactly. And the video highlights a particularly insidious aspect of this, what they call the vicious cycle. It's a classic self-fulfilling prophecy where the anxiety itself, the very fear of that mind blank moment happening, actually makes your mind more likely to go blank.
Oh, wow. So the fear causes the thing you fear.
Precisely. Our brains, when they perceive stress or social threat, they divert resources away from higher order functions like, fluid conversation and creative thinking towards more primitive survival responses, fight, flight, or freeze.
Freeze. That's exactly what it feels like.
Right. It's like your brain's internal alarm system prioritizes perceived safety over witty banter. It essentially makes you freeze rather than flow conversationally. So this raises a really important question. How do we disrupt that deeply ingrained feedback loop, that pattern where fear begets silence, which then begets even more fear?
That's truly the million-dollar question, isn't it? That cycle can feel so inescapable sometimes. You feel trapped in it. But the video, true to Awaken, your potential's really empowering style, shifts the narrative right there. It poses this incredibly hopeful and empowering question. But what if you could break that cycle?
A turning point.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. They don't just sit there diagnosing the problem. They paint this really enticing and crucially achievable vision. Imagine, they say, always having something engaging to say, no more panic setting in, no more mind blanks derailing you, just smooth, confident, enjoyable conversations.
That's a compelling picture.
It really is. It's not just about avoiding the awkwardness, which is nice, but it's about transforming your interactions entirely, opening yourself up to genuine, meaningful connection with other people.
And that positive vision is absolutely crucial, isn't it? Because it gives us a kind of North Star to aim for. It reframes the goal. It's not about becoming some completely different person overnight or like a perfectly polished, never miss a beat conversationalist. That's intimidating.
Truly unrealistic, yeah.
Right. It's more about unlocking potential that's probably already within us, much like, shedding layers of self-doubt and fear to reveal a more authentic, engaged version of yourself. It's about transforming that fear-driven, anxious interaction into a more fluid, authentic exchange. And that is a truly powerful promise, a promise the video actually helps you start to fulfill.
So, okay, if we're feeling those mind blanks, that horrible stomach-dropping silence, Is it really because deep down we're just not interesting enough? Or maybe not smart enough? I know I used to beat myself up with that question constantly.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's one of the first things the video does, and it's so crucial. They immediately and very clearly debunk that myth. They offer such powerful reassurance, stating really clearly that it's rarely because you're not interesting or smart enough. And hearing that insight alone, wow, for so many of us who carry that heavy burden of self-judgment, it immediately alleviates a huge unnecessary weight.
Yeah, that felt like a weight lifted just hearing that.
Right. Our minds going blank is almost never a reflection of our inherent worth, our intelligence, or, a lack of intriguing life experiences. It's usually something far more mechanistic, actually,
Yeah.
and manageable.
Okay, so if it's not that, if it's not some fundamental flaw in us, thank goodness, what are the real culprits then? The video goes into a few usual suspects, which I found incredibly relatable and quite illuminating. The first one they identify, anxiety and overthinking. Oh boy, am I supremely guilty of this one.
Chuckles lightly. I think many of us are.
Yeah. I remember this recent networking event. I was so fixated on just wondering, am I standing awkwardly? Is my smile too wide? What if I say something totally stupid? And my mind was so busy running all those internal checks, it was like the actual conversation queue just froze up.
Yeah.
It really does feel like your internal processor just gives up under the load.
It's precisely that cognitive overload, as they so aptly put it in the video. When you're stressing constantly about what others are thinking or how you're coming across, your brain just goes into overdrive. They use the analogy of having too many apps open on your computer, right?
Yeah.
Which eventually leads to a system crash. Your brain just can't handle it all.
That's a perfect analogy. Exactly how it feels.
And they made a really powerful declaration. Fear of being judged is a total conversation killer. Think about your brain having like a limited amount of working memory, or RAM. When a significant chunk of that memory is constantly dedicated to monitoring perceived threats like the judgment of others, even if it's just imagined, there's simply no bandwidth left for things like spontaneous thought, active listening, or quick recall of relevant information. Your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for those executive functions like fluid conversation, essentially gets hijacked by the amygdala, our brain's fear center. This isn't about intellect at all. It's about a neurochemical response where the brain prioritizes self-preservation that frees response over social fluency. Understanding that physiological hijack is really key to disrupting the pattern.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's literally my brain trying to protect me, but doing it in a really unhelpful way in that social context.
In a sense, yes. It misinterprets the social situation as a threat.
Got it. Okay, and then there's usual suspect, #2. Not enough practice. This one seems so obvious when you hear it laid out, but how often do we really stop and think about conversation as a skill that needs practice?
Right. We just expect to be good at it.
Exactly. They do this brilliant analogy in the video, saying that chatting, like any other skill, playing piano, learning a language, playing tennis, improves the more you do it. It's like building muscle. You wouldn't expect to be a virtuoso pianist without putting in the hours, without those endless repetitions and scales.
Precisely. And the direct consequence of avoidance, as they point out, is that if you habitually retreat from or, actively avoid conversations because they make you anxious, you're simply not building that muscle. You're not doing the reps. You're not strengthening those crucial neural pathways that facilitate quick recall, empathetic responses, or creative verbal associations. It's literally a rewiring process in the brain that requires consistent input, consistent practice. Imagine trying to run a marathon without ever having gone for a single jog. Social fluency is really no different. It requires training. And this raises an important question for you, the listener. How might this apply to your own habits? Are you actively seeking out opportunities to practice, even small ones? Or are you maybe inadvertently limiting them by, say, retreating into your phone whenever you're in a social setting? It's a skill that genuinely atrophies without use.
Oof, that really hit home for me. I am definitely guilty of sometimes retreating into my phone in social settings precisely to avoid that potential awkwardness. So I'm basically avoiding that crucial practice.
Wow. Okay, and the third culprit they mentioned, usual suspect, #3, unrealistic expectations. This one also hit me hard. They really explore the immense pressure we often put on ourselves to be constantly super witty, deep, or endlessly entertaining.
The performance pressure. Totally. We feel like every single word that comes out of our mouths has to be this pearl of wisdom. Every little anecdote has to be a showstopper. Every interaction needs to be worthy of, like a stand-up comedy special. It's exhausting.
And this leads directly to profoundly self-sabotaging behavior, as the
Mhm.
video highlights so well. You end up filtering out perfectly fine things to say, perfectly normal, relatable comments or questions, simply because they're deemed not good enough by this harsh internal editor.
Yeah, that internal critic is brutal.
It really is. And this internal editor, obsessed with achieving some impossible standard of perfection, actually becomes a conversation block rather than a helpful guide. What's truly fascinating here and so liberating is the insight they provide. Most great chats are built on way simpler stuff,
Simpler stuff, like what?
like just being present, being genuine, being engaged with the other person. It's not about being a brilliant comedian or a profound philosopher in every single interaction. It's about releasing that immense pressure to be dazzling and just allowing yourself to be real human.
That's such a relief to hear, honestly. It takes so much pressure off, realizing that genuine connection doesn't actually demand a perfect performance every single time. So, okay, we've identified those culprits. The anxiety, the lack of practice, the crazy expectations. What are the mindset shifts then? The shifts that can help us build that authentic confidence and maybe even start to enjoy our conversations.
Right. Mindset is foundational. The video introduces several essential mindset shifts, which are truly the bedrock for transforming your whole approach to conversation. The first one, and perhaps the most surprising for many people, is the invitation to embrace small talk.
Ah, small talk, the thing everyone loves to hate.
Exactly. And this is a crucial challenge to that really common misconception that small talk is somehow superficial, totally meaningless, or just this awkward hurdle you have to endure before you can get to the real conversation.
Yeah, I totally used to dread small talk. It felt exactly like that, a meaningless hurdle, almost a waste of breath before you could talk about something important.
Mm.
But in the video, they explain how it's not superficial at all. It's actually a vital social warm-up. Think of it like stretching before a workout. It prepares you. It limbers up the social muscles.
That's a great way to put it.
They give such concrete, really easy to implement examples.
Mhm.
Things like just noticing your surroundings. Wow, it's really packed in here today. Or maybe commenting on something simple like this coffee is actually surprisingly good. These aren't profound statements, obviously, no. But they're simple, super low-stakes ways to break the ice, to kind of test the waters, and to initiate connection without demanding immediate vulnerability or deep thought. They open the door potentially to much deeper conversations later by establishing a comfortable, easy baseline first.
And what's truly fascinating here is the underlying psychological function of small talk. It serves a real purpose. It allows for a very low-pressure way to establish an initial connection and maybe find some immediate common ground, even if it's just the shared environment. It's also a subtle method of, risk assessment. It allows both parties to gently gauge each other's openness, mood, and interest without putting high stakes on the table right away. It prepares the conversational ground, allowing for a gradual escalation of intimacy or depth in the conversation if both people are feeling it. You're not immediately demanding deep revelation. You're simply setting the stage, building a little rapport first. It's a foundational step in building connection, not just a time filler.
Okay, seeing it as a social warm-up and a foundation really changes things. That makes a lot of sense. Another crucial paradigm shift they talk about is how to reframe silence. This concept honestly blew my mind a little bit. I always saw every pause, every lull in the conversation as a personal failure, like a sign that I hadn't prepared enough or I wasn't interesting enough to keep it going.
That's such a common feeling, the pressure to fill every single second.
Totally. But they suggest that not every pause is awkward. In fact, they argue that pauses can actually be beneficial.
Precisely. They explain the positive function of silence. It gives people space to think, which is something we rarely allow for. In our super fast-paced, always-on, notification-driven world, we often rush instinctively to fill every single void, fearing the vacuum of silence. But natural pauses in conversation allow for reflection. They allow people to process what's just been said, to maybe formulate more thoughtful responses instead of just blurting something out, or simply to establish a comfortable shared presence.
Comfortable presence. I like that.
Yeah. They encourage the listener, you, not to freak out when it happens, but to try and see it as a natural, healthy, and maybe even valuable part of dialogue, not automatically a signal of conversational failure. Sometimes silence can even deepen intimacy between people, signifying a level of comfort that doesn't demand constant verbal output. It's a powerful shift from anxiety and panic to acceptance, recognizing that true connection often involves more than just a constant stream of words.
Taking a collective breath in the conversation. I like that idea. It feels less like pressure. And then something else that was incredibly liberating for me personally and took a huge weight off my shoulders. Give yourself permission to be imperfect.
Ah, yes, this is a big one.
Huge.
Mhm.
They really underscored the liberating truth that you don't have to be a comic or a genius to have good conversations. This connects right back to those unrealistic expectations we were talking about earlier, that crushing idea that every single interaction needs to be dazzling or profound.
Indeed. The video's core message here is profound and incredibly humanizing. People connect with real, not perfect. Authenticity, genuine presence, and simply the willingness to be yourself flaws and will always trump some kind of rehearsed performance or manufactured wit. When you release that immense internal pressure to be flawless, you free yourself up to be truly present in the moment. And that presence, that willingness to perhaps be a little vulnerable or awkward even, that is what truly fosters deep connection. It allows for empathy and relatability. Because guess what? We are all imperfect. It's about being human together, not presenting some polished highlight reel of yourself.
Wow, people connect with real, not perfect. That's really powerful. It's like a huge shift in perspective for so many of us, I think. And finally, perhaps the most impactful mindset shift they suggest, and certainly one that resonates really deeply with my own experiences when I managed to do it, is to shift your focus outward.
The outward focus. Crucial.
Yeah. Instead of being stuck inside your own head, constantly worrying about how you sound or how you look, or desperately trying to concoct your next brilliant thought, they say to really listen to the other person. I can tell you from personal experience, when I actually managed to do this, to get out of my own head, the entire dynamic of the conversation just changes instantly.
This is truly transformational, and it leverages some fundamental principles of human psychology and attention. They elaborate on what specifically to focus on, their words, their vibe, their body language. When you genuinely direct your attention away from your internal monologue of self-judgment and self-monitoring and towards the other person, two incredibly powerful things happen pretty much simultaneously.
Okay, what are they?
First, it naturally reduces your self-consciousness simply because your focus is externalized. Your brain is no longer consuming all those precious cognitive resources by constantly self-monitoring and self-critiquing.
Freeing up bandwidth.
Exactly. And second, perhaps even more importantly, it organically generates conversational cues for you. Their facial expressions, a subtle shift in their posture, a particular keyword they use, an emotion you sense in their tone. These all become natural invitations for you to respond, to inquire further, or to share something related. It's basically the ultimate anti-mind blank strategy because the other person provides all the raw material you need for the conversation. You're no longer scrambling internally for ideas, you're simply responding authentically to what's right there in front of you.
That makes so much sense. You stop trying to produce conversation and start responding to the person. Okay, so we've reset our mindset. We've got these foundational shifts, which is huge. But what about when you're still, in that moment, and despite your best intentions, your brain just freezes? You've got the right mindset in theory, but the words just aren't coming. Does the video give us any concrete, actionable tools, like a confident conversation toolkit, something tangible to lean on in those moments to always have something to say?
Absolutely it does, and this is where the video truly shines, I think, in empowering you with really actionable strategies. It moves beautifully from that conceptual understanding we've been discussing into very practical application. They lay out a fantastic 5-toolkit specifically designed to give you immediate, simple options to either get a stalled conversation flowing again or even just to start a conversation confidently in the first place.
Okay, I'm ready. Tool #1.
Tool #1 is called the observation deck.
The observation deck.
This is so brilliant in its simplicity and how immediately applicable it is. The mechanism is simply to comment on what's happening around you. That's it. It instantly grounds you in the present moment, right where you are, and it provides a ready-made, low-stakes, shared topic between you and the other person.
So using the environment.
Exactly. They gave some great illustrative examples in the video, like pointing to something nearby. This artwork is amazing. Have you seen it up close? Or if you're at an event with food, have you tried the snacks yet? They look incredible. Or even just a general comment like, wow, this place is really buzzing tonight, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, those are easy. I could do those.
What's really effective here is how this tool leverages your immediate shared environment. It provides instant, universally accessible topics that are tangible. They don't require any prior knowledge about the person or demand any deep personal revelation right at the outset. It establishes a shared reality, a common point of reference between you. It's a perfect conversation starter or restarter because it's right there, literally in front of both of you, making it super easy to engage without feeling pressure to be clever or profound. It's simply about noticing the world around you together and using that as your conversational springboard.
Okay, observation deck. Got it. What's tool #2?
Tool #2 is the question converter.
Question converter. Sounds intriguing.
This one is all about asking the right kind of questions to keep the dialogue flowing naturally and invite more than just a one-word answer. The core principle, which you might have heard but is worth repeating, is to use open-ended questions instead of yes-no questions.
Right, the classic advice. Open-ended.
It's classic for a reason. It works. This is something I know I had heard before too, but seeing it applied so clearly in the video just made it click into place again. Instead of asking something like, "Did you have a good weekend?" which often just prompts a dead-end yes, or maybe no, maybe it was okay.
Yeah, conversation killer right there.
Totally. They give much more powerful examples like, "What was the best part of your weekend?" or "How did you spend your time off?" or even, "What are you looking forward to this week?" These aren't just about getting more words out of the person. They're about opening up narratives, inviting stories.
Inviting stories. I
Yeah.
like that framing.
Yeah. This tool is absolutely vital for keeping the conversational ball rolling and, crucially, for actually delving deeper into understanding the other person. Closed-ended questions, the yes-no ones, they invite short, often dead-end answers that can bring the conversation to an abrupt halt. Open-ended questions, conversely, naturally invite more detailed responses, personal narratives, maybe opinions, deeper insights into the other person's experiences or perspectives. They inherently encourage the other person to elaborate, to share more of their story, which in turn gives you more threads to follow.
Leading into the next tool, maybe.
Exactly. Leads us directly to the next tool. Plus, asking open-ended questions signals genuine curiosity on your part, and it creates space for a much richer, more engaging exchange.
Okay, question converter, turn those yes-nos into what's or how's. Got it. So tool #3 must be
Tool #3, conversational threading.
conversational threading. Okay, explain that one.
This is truly the art of active listening put into practice, something they really emphasize in the video as absolutely crucial for building genuine connection, not just talking at someone. It means you actively listen for threads, keywords or feelings or topics in what the other person says, and then you follow up on those. It's about being truly engaged enough to pick up on specific elements of what they're sharing and then gently pulling on that thread, asking more about that specific thing, rather than just waiting impatiently for your turn to jump in with your own unrelated story.
So it shows you were actually listening.
Precisely. They gave such a vivid and practical example in the video. If someone mentions casually, "Oh, I just got back from Spain," you don't just say, "Oh, nice," and move on.
That killed it.
Instead, you pull the
Yeah.
thread. You can ask, "Oh, wow, nice. Which city was your favorite?" Or maybe, Spain. I've always wanted to go specifically for the paella. Any incredible dishes you'd recommend?" Or perhaps, "That sounds amazing. What was the most surprising thing you learned or experienced about Spanish culture while you were there?" See how those follow the thread.
Yeah, definitely. It builds directly on what they said. It shows you heard them and you're interested in that specific thing.
Exactly. This demonstrates genuine engagement and truly active listening, which is incredibly validating for the other person. They feel heard. Instead of just waiting for your turn to speak or shifting the topic abruptly, you're building directly on what they've shared. You're indicating that you're truly hearing and processing their words and that you value their contribution to the conversation. This naturally fosters deeper connection and moves the conversation beyond just surface-level exchanges into more meaningful, personalized territory. It clearly shows you're not just present physically, but you're actually present mentally and emotionally with them.
I found it really eye-opening how simple yet profoundly powerful that threading technique is.
Yeah.
It feels so much more natural and connecting once you actually start consciously doing it. Okay, threading. Got it. Tool #4.
Tool #4 is the Me Too connector.
The Me Too connector. Okay, this sounds potentially tricky. Is this about making it about yourself?
That's a great question, and they address that directly. This is not about one-upping someone, which is a very common misconception and definitely a conversational pitfall to avoid at all costs. It's not about hijacking their story to tell your bigger, better one.
Okay, good. Because that's annoying.
Very annoying. No, the video clarifies the true intent. You share a similar experience or feeling not to one-up them, but purely to connect. It's fundamentally about building rapport and finding common ground through shared humanity and empathy.
Okay, connecting, not competing. I like that distinction.
Exactly. It's about finding that common ground through shared human experience. They suggest using specific phrases that help facilitate this connection gently, like, oh, that reminds me of this time when, or wow, I know exactly what you mean about feeling, or maybe I had a really similar experience with. The power of this tool, when used genuinely for connection, lies in its ability to create instant empathy and solidarity. It makes the other person feel understood, validated in their feelings or experience, and perhaps less alone. And that naturally strengthens the bond between the speakers. When you share a relatable anecdote with the intention of connecting, you're building a bridge between your experiences, not erecting a wall or starting a competition. It's a really beautiful way to validate their experience and show that you relate on a human level.
Okay, me too. Connector for connection, not one-upmanship. Focus on empathy. Got it. That leaves one more tool.
That leaves tool #5, the compliment catalyst.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Compliment catalyst.
This one feels so good to give and usually incredibly good to receive. The foundation is wonderfully simple. Spot something you genuinely like or appreciate about them and say it out loud.
So simple yet.
Mhm.
We often don't do it, do
You
we?
really don't. It sounds simple, but offering a sincere, specific compliment can be so incredibly effective at warming up an interaction almost instantly and creating an immediate positive vibe. They give great, easy examples in the video. Maybe comment on something they're wearing. That jacket's awesome. Where'd you happen to get it? Or perhaps reference something they contributed earlier. You know, I really loved what you said back in the meeting earlier. That point about X really stuck with me. Even something simple like, you have such a warm and welcoming smile.
Yeah, those feel good. They feel authentic.
And this tool is incredibly effective because a genuine compliment, the key word is genuine, immediately creates a positive atmosphere. It shows the other person that you're observant, that you actually notice positive things, that you appreciate others, and importantly, that you're willing to express that appreciation verbally. It can instantly warm the entire interaction, making the other person feel seen, valued, and appreciated. And when people feel that way, they naturally become more open and willing to engage further in the conversation. It's a powerful way to build immediate rapport and inject positive energy right from the start, setting a really pleasant tone for the entire exchange. The key, as the video stresses repeatedly, is genuineness. It has to be authentic.
Okay, wow. Observation deck, question converter, conversational threading, Me Too connector for connection, and compliment catalyst. That's actually a really practical and powerful toolkit right there. So we have the mindset shifts now that change our internal approach, and we have this amazing toolkit of practical strategies for the what to say moments. But what about the overall flow of the conversation itself? Like, how do we keep it balanced, make sure it's not just us talking, and also, crucially, how do we wrap things up gracefully without that awkward linger at the end?
Great points. The video also delves into mastering the actual conversation flow, which is equally important for having confident and, importantly, enjoyable interactions for both people. They highlight the critical importance of finding balance the talk, meaning consciously ensuring you let the other person speak too. A conversation is, by its very definition, a dialogue, a two-way street, not a monologue. This seems incredibly obvious when you say it.
Yeah, sounds basic.
But it's so often overlooked, especially when someone is feeling nervous or feels that pressure to constantly fill silence. They might end up dominating the conversation without even realizing it.
That's such a crucial point. It's so easy to get caught up in your own talking, especially, like you said, when you're nervous and feel compelled to fill every tiny pause. You just keep going.
Exactly.
But they give a really practical, easy-to-remember tip in the video. If you realize you've been talking for a while, just pause and ask them a question. Preferably an open-ended one, using our question converter tool.
Simple but effective.
Yeah. This immediately demonstrates attentiveness. It shows you're genuinely engaged in their perspective, not just waiting for your next turn to speak. And it ensures you're not inadvertently monopolizing the airtime. It keeps the conversation dynamic, respectful, and helps ensure both parties feel heard and valued. It's just a simple cue that gracefully shifts the spotlight back to them.
And then, equally crucial for leaving a positive final impression, they discuss the often neglected art of exiting gracefully. Knowing how to smoothly conclude a conversation is actually just as important as knowing how to start one well.
Oh, definitely. The awkward ending can sour a whole good chat.
It really can, A smooth exit leaves a lasting positive impression and helps you avoid that lingering, uncomfortable, okay, bye, kind of awkwardness at the very end. They share some really practical, easy to use examples of smooth exit lines. Things like, well, it was really awesome chatting with you, but I should probably get back to X specific task or person, or I really enjoyed our talk today. I hope to see you around at the next event.
Okay, those sound natural.
Yeah, or you could use phrases like, I don't want to keep you any longer, but it was really great connecting. Or maybe, I'm going to grab another drink, find my friend, but it was a real pleasure speaking with you. These kinds of phrases provide a clear, polite signal that the conversation is naturally concluding without being abrupt or dismissive. It allows for a natural, comfortable disengagement for both people.
Knowing how to end well. That's a skill in itself.
Okay. And what's the overarching message about all these skills, all these tools and mindset shifts? Is it about nailing it perfectly right away or, becoming some kind of conversational guru overnight? Because that sounds daunting again.
Absolutely not. And the video is very consistent about this, which is really encouraging. It constantly reinforces the core empowering message that these skills get better with practice. It's not presented as an overnight transformation. It's framed entirely as a journey of incremental
A
progress.
journey, not a destination.
Precisely. They strongly encourage taking a low-pressure approach. Start small, they advise. Try them out in low-stakes situations first and build your confidence from there.
Yeah.
Don't aim for some grand, flawless performance on day one in a high-pressure meeting.
Okay, low stakes.
Yeah.
Like, try using just one new tool, maybe the observation deck, or a compliment with the barista at the coffee shop, or a neighbor you barely know, or the cashier at the grocery store. The emphasis is squarely on incremental progress, on building that conversational muscle slowly but consistently, just like physical exercise. They reiterate throughout that the overarching goal is simply to improve, not to be perfect. It's a journey, not some final destination where you suddenly achieve conversational flawlessness forever. And this raises another important question for you, the listener. What's just one small, genuinely low-stakes situation where you could commit to practicing just one of these tools, maybe even later today? The cleaner at the office, the person next to you on the train or bus. Just one small step can start to create real momentum.
That's such a crucial reminder. It really is a journey, and every little step counts. Every small practice session builds that momentum and makes the next step feel a little easier. And this entire video we've been unpacking, kill awkward silences forever, speak confidently with anyone, with all these fantastic, actionable insights. It's really just one truly incredible example of the kind of high-quality, practical content you can find on the Awaken Your Potential channel.
It truly is just a glimpse. Awaken Your Potential is really designed as they put it, your space for personal growth, self-discovery, and daily motivation. It aims to be a holistic resource for improving many different aspects of your life, not just communication. It plays a profound role, I think, in guiding viewers step by step toward becoming a stronger, more self-aware you. They do this through a really wide array of videos covering essential topics like practical mindfulness techniques, specific self-growth strategies, how to build resilience in the face of challenges, and fostering overall personal development. They focus consistently on providing practical techniques for embracing change, cultivating a growth mindset, and building lasting habits. For instance, their mindfulness content directly addresses the kind of anxiety and overthinking we discussed earlier as a root cause of mind blanks. It helps you cultivate that shift focus outward mindset we talked about.
Right, it all connects.
Exactly. And their videos on building resilience, for example, can help you bounce back much quicker from those moments when a conversation does inevitably go quiet or feel awkward, instead of letting it spiral into debilitating self-doubt. It's all interconnected.
And what I really love is how this particular video on conversation fits so seamlessly into their broader vision. It's clearly part of a larger philosophy, maybe even a larger series, that empowers you to do things like study smarter, reclaim your time, and unlock your potential. This isn't just about chatting better at parties. It's framed as part of holistic personal development, giving you the practical tools to truly thrive in all areas of your life, from your social interactions to your productivity, your learning, and your overall well-being. It feels like a really comprehensive, integrated approach to self-improvement.
The channel also seems to excel at fostering a genuine sense of community, which feels increasingly rare and valuable in today's often fragmented digital landscape. Even in the Kill Awkward Silences video itself, they invite interactions so beautifully and authentically. They include those standard calls to action, of course, like if these tips helped you, hit that thumbs up button. And for more videos on confidence and communication, subscribe and click the notification bell. The usual YouTube things.
Right, standard stuff.
But what's truly impressive, I think, what truly fosters that personal connection that seems to make the channel so special is when they directly invite their audience to comment personally. They say something like, comment below, what's your biggest struggle with awkward silences, or which tip are you most excited to try? I actually read them all.
Wow, I actually read them all. That's a commitment.
It really is. And that level of personal engagement, that promise to genuinely read viewer comments, is so rare and so incredibly valuable in online spaces today. It creates a true sense of belonging, of being heard, and fosters a really supportive community atmosphere around the content.
Really makes you feel seen and heard, doesn't it? Like you're not just shouting into the void. It creates that feeling of truly being part of a supportive community that's maybe on a similar journey of growth. And they end the video with such a powerful final encouragement, too, reiterating that central theme. Beating awkward silences and speaking with confidence is a journey, but you can absolutely do it.
And crucially, they stress again that it's not about memorizing lines or being fake, which is so vital for building authentic, sustainable confidence, not just putting on an act. They underscore again that true connection comes from being real. Instead, they say it's about having a few tools like the ones we discussed, the right mindset, those crucial shifts, and the courage to try. It boils down to being willing to step just slightly outside your comfort zone, even just a little bit, and experiment with these ideas. This raises one last important question. What small act of conversational courage can you commit to today, maybe using just one of these tools, perhaps in that low-stakes situation we brainstormed earlier?
One small act of courage. I like that. They really empower the listener right up to the very end, don't they? Reminding you have awesome things to say, you can connect with people in meaningful ways. It's such a beautiful, affirming message to leave you with. It reinforces that you already possess what it takes. You just need the tools and the mindset to unlock it. So, just to quickly recap our deep dive today, we've learned that anxiety and overthinking are often the real culprits behind those dreaded mind blanks. It's usually not about you being flawed or uninteresting. Huge relief.
Definitely.
We've explored how building genuine confidence comes from making some powerful mindset shifts. Things like embracing small talk as a necessary social warm-up, reframing silence as a natural and sometimes useful part of dialogue, giving yourself permission to be imperfect because people connect with real, and maybe most importantly, shifting your focus outward to truly listen to the other person.
And you now have a really powerful, actionable toolkit at your disposal. The observation deck to ground you in the present moment, the question converter for asking those engaging, open-ended questions, conversational threading to show you're truly listening and build connection, the Me Too connector, used for empathy, for building rapport through shared experience, and the complement catalyst to foster immediate positive connections and warmth. Remember also to balance the talk, making sure it's a true exchange, know how to wrap it up gracefully using those exit strategies, and maybe most importantly of all, practice, 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 start small, aim for progress, not perfection, and build from there.
Please, don't let a few quiet seconds, or even just the fear of them, stop you from having potentially amazing conversations and building incredible, meaningful relationships in your life. You now have these tools, you have these mindset insights from Awaken Your Potential, and you can absolutely start believing in yourself a little more, starting today. Take these steps, be a little brave, and go out there and connect. You totally got this.
Now, as you reflect on all this great information, maybe consider this final thought. What incredible connections, truly insightful ideas you might have gained, or even unexpected opportunities, personal or professional, might you have been missing out on over the years simply because of the fear of a few quiet seconds in a conversation? And what significant changes could start to ripple through your life if you dared to apply just one of these powerful tools? Commit to one mindset shift, starting today, maybe this week, in your very next interaction.
We've truly only scratched the surface today of the profound insights and practical wisdom packed into this one video. So we strongly, genuinely encourage you to go watch the full Kill Awkward Silences Forever Speak Confidently with Anyone video yourself.
Yeah.
Go directly to the source on the Awaken Your Potential YouTube channel. It is such an immersive experience when you watch it, and seeing the concepts presented visually really helps them solidify and stick with you, I find. You can easily find Awaken Your Potential just by searching that name on YouTube, and you'll discover all their other incredible series there, too.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Go watch it. Really engage with the content, maybe take some notes, and then take that step comment below their video. Share your own journey with awkward silences, or maybe many in which tip you're most excited to try out first. Become part of that really supportive community they'd built over there. And of course, make sure you subscribe to Awaken Your Potential while you're there so you stay connected for continued growth and don't miss the next incredible episode in their transformative series.
It's a truly valuable resource and a transformative journey they offer, and we're honestly just excited for you to experience it firsthand.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive today, and we'll catch you next time.